got a goal. And our goal, I put on all these tables, is to provide affordable, reliable, accessible, and sustainable public transportation in Lincoln County, Ohio. And I'm really encouraged by the diversity of the people who've come together to work on this. I really believe that this community can do this. I really believe that if we work together, we share the information that we each have with the others, that we can work together and solve this problem. And I don't think there's one solution to this problem. I think it's going to be a multi-factored solution, and that we need everybody, all the stakeholders involved in this, to do this together. So we started out with having some groups. We have a business and community group that's going to work with businesses and the community agencies, Grow Licking County, community groups. We have an education and publicity committee that's going to try to get information out to people about our transportation needs, and then some of the, as we develop some solutions, try to get that information out to people so they know what's happening. We've got to coordinate with Licking County Transit, and the other, and I just put Licking County Transit on here, but it also includes any other transit options that we have, which might be the Go Bus. I see the Go Bus when I go over to OSU Newark. There's this big, beautiful bus, and it goes, I think, to Mount Vernon.
Into Worcester.
Yeah.
Worcester is the line.
Yeah, Worcester, and then it goes to Athens, doesn't it?
There's like 6 different lines, but the one that comes through here is Columbus to Worcester, and then there's other ones that go through.
So anyway, but I never see anybody get out of the bus or get off the bus. So it seems like we should coordinate with that bus and find out what's going on and help people learn about that possibility for transit. And there we had people from Share that were interested in working on a pilot project with Edison. So this group would be coordinating with these different groups that are trying to provide transit. And then this group is working on funding, trying to find out, because there's other communities like Lancaster and Zanesville and Mansfield that are able to provide loop buses and maybe a better system, and maybe their system's worse than ours, but I don't know. But we want to look at other places and see how they're doing it. We want to find if there's grant money available, if there's funding that the community can provide, businesses, so forth. We want to find that funding. So this group would be working on funding. So last time we made some progress. I know the business, Jonathan Lang is heading that committee, and I know that he has sent out, through the Chamber of Commerce, he sent out a survey to all the businesses in the area, asking them about how their employees are getting to work, whether they're using temp agencies, what their needs are for transportation, and asking for their input. So that group's been busy, the business and community group. I know that the funding group has been gathering information from various sources. And the education and publicity group, Janet and I got interviewed by the radio, so and we put that on our Facebook page. So what I'd like you to do is find a group where you think you could give the most input or where your interests are, and sit with that group and then talk about what that group has done. Those people who were involved with it last time could share anything that's been going on with that group, and then report back to us, and then look for the next steps. So the questions are, what have we done? What are the next steps? And then you can identify next steps, but if nobody does it, it doesn't work. So we need to know who will do this and when are they going to do it. Okay, so we really need to push this forward to action. We need some action to happen on these things. So if you want to find your table, I left what I had minutes from the last meeting. So, yes?
I think it might be good if some of the people from these different groups would make a pitch to show how exciting it is that
okay.
Mr. Fraser actually, come on.
Do I got a pitch?
Yeah, let's hear it.
So the coordinate, you guys, you know.
Yep. I want to be able to hear.
And I'll be on camera too. So we're the coordinate with Lincoln County Transit. So we have 2 transit board members in the group as well. My name is Mark Frazier. I'm on City Council for the City of Newark at large. So we did a lot of research. So ODOT has a bunch of resources. HUD has resources as well. The Lincoln County Transit Authority. And there's been a lot of surveys that are done. The best of which is the 2014 ODOT program update on transit, which does comparisons throughout all of the counties. We had 5 specific cities that we wanted to look at, including Lancaster and Marion, and see whether they have fixed route or demand response, what their fares were, what their hours of operation are. And then we also did a lot of research on other news articles specific to Lincoln County Transit as far as bus count, service updates, because one of the most recent decisions was to pull Sunday service from Lincoln County Transit to save on expenses. And so, compiling that research, we're going to review it today, talk about next steps, and try to see what we can do to look at the fixed route side, the cost side of that, as well as the infrastructure replacement as well. So that's what we're
And we have a Licking County Transit driver, which I think is really important to get these people involved in solving the problem, because they're the ones out there every day who are dealing with transporting our people. And he gave us some information, Jenna and myself, some information before we started the meeting, and it was fascinating, all the things that he knows about transit. So I think that's the big thing, is to get everybody in the community involved in solving this problem. So if you're interested in coordinating with Licking County Transit and the other transit services, you need to come to this table. All right, then we had the business community, and as I said, Jonathan Lang, who's the head of that committee, isn't here. Is somebody else from that committee?
You want to say a word?
I don't know. I wasn't here last week.
No, but you could say a word about transportation needs, if you will.
About business?
You are the business community.
You are the business community.
You are.
I didn't sign up for that.
Yeah, you got nominated, I think.
We just did. Commandeered you.
Well, the biggest issue with industrial growth right now is employment. And a huge issue is getting people from point A to point B. 14-hour, $1 an hour jobs, driving unreliable transportation. You can't get to work. Can't get to work, they'd lose their job. It's a bad cycle. From a business point of view, from a development point of view, we need to be able to move people. But I didn't sign up for it.
Well, Jonathan has sent a survey around to all the area businesses through the Chamber of Commerce. So we hope to get some more information. Yes.
There was also a survey that went out last year that Denison, or 2 years ago, that Denison did, that we can get a hold of the data, but it's not electronic. It's still in written format. So if that's something that's valuable, we can get a hold of that as well.
And then it's also not only to work with the business community, but the rest of the community, like the colleges, OSU, Newark, and Denison, because they have students who need to get around and who may live in dormitories. So if you're interested in working with the communities, the business community and Denison, the hospital, and other people that need to get people to their services.
Yeah, and Olivia Biggs is here from the health department, so maybe she'd have a thing to say about their most recent enterprise.
Oh, what's our most recent?
Fitness. Yeah. Isn't there something about community fitness going on at the health department?
Oh, we always have initiatives for wellness in the community, and especially towards youth. But really, I think as far as health goes, I learned that we used to have a system that would bring people up to the health department, because we're kind of, we're in North Newark, so we're kind of far to get to, but we do have important clinics, immunizations, and especially STD clinics that we like to have the community utilize in order to prevent the spread of disease. So getting a system up that way would be great for public health. And then also in relation to just general health and people being able to get to their appointments and checkups. I've heard that especially new mothers are having problems getting themselves and the babies to their next checkups. And so I have talked to Licking Memorial Hospital, their quality improvement division, and they currently don't track how many people don't come to their appointments because of transportation problems, but they are going to start tracking that. So we don't have any data right now, but hopefully in a year or so, we'll have a better idea of why people don't show up to their appointments because of transportation issues. So I think that's a couple of recent developments as far as health goes.
Just a little observation that, you know, in talking about the, like Dennison and so forth, we think of the students, and you're talking about women and their children who are patients, but those are also employment nodes. So a lot of people work at Dennison who may not be able to afford a car, or likewise hospitals, a source of, you know, salaried workers, not just doctors and stuff, but you know, people who clean and so forth who, so the same people riding those to those nodes for being a patient or being a student might also benefit from the employment opportunities.
Right.
Can I say something? We do, Lincoln County Transit does transport people to OSU in places like that. You know, if they're scheduled ahead of time, it's like that. It's an ongoing thing, scheduled. They get picked up all the time,
Yeah.
dropped off all the time, and go to OSU, pick them up there, take them home and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
It's just like the appointments, like she said. They can call transit. We take them to any doctor's appointments they need to. They just need to call ahead of time, schedule an appointment and stuff, and we will pick them up and drop them off and pick them up and take them home.
And if it's reoccurring, how far in advance can you schedule? Like, if you have class Tuesday, Thursday, can you just schedule the whole semester?
Yes,
or do you have to?
yes. As long as you're on that schedule,
Yep.
they'll keep you on that schedule. And if you need to cancel, you
Just
can
call ahead
cancel
and
it
cancel,
stuff like that.
no charge?
Okay, it's easier to keep you on that schedule and cancel it than it is to,
Call in every month and
Yeah.
update it?
yes.
Is there any discount for the fees or fares involved? You know,
Yes.
programs, I know for the aging, but are there any other programs that have, you know, subsidized fares or
There's,
discounts?
there's senior levy,
Mhm.
there's United Way,
Is there a student rate, for example, with the transit company? Is there, you know, like in bigger cities, you know, we used to be able to go anywhere as a student for like almost nothing, you know?
well,
They
we,
had
like I
discounts
said, we
for 'em
cover
and stuff.
all Lincoln County,
Okay.
okay? And we can charge from $2 to $4. That's if it's scheduled ahead of time.
Okay.
Okay, it's like a same day trip, it might be $1 or $2 more.
Okay.
I think the maximum is $6,
Yes.
right? The most you'll pay is $6.
Yeah.
The least you'll pay is it free? Is there a free option for the elderly? Is that how that-
Yeah, there's, like I said, senior levy is free,
Mhm.
and Lincoln County Agency, we transport all of them, it's free and stuff.
Yeah.
And Job and Family Services is free, because Job and Family Services is what pays us. Okay, and we take them from, like I say, their appointments from the doctor, home to the doctor, and from the doctor home. But we can't, like I say,
Stop
we
off
take
and
them.
go shopping in
Yeah,
between.
we can't do that, because then they
okay,
have to pay.
Yep.
Right,
Because,
right.
Separate.
Job and Family Services is supposed to pay in their way to get there.
Gotcha, okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, so he was telling us ahead of time about the record keeping that the bus drivers do in order to make sure that everything gets billed to the right place. And also that the dispatcher keeps those records as well to make sure they match up. So there's a lot behind the scenes that goes into these rides that makes it, it's more of a challenge. I wouldn't say it for the drivers because they have their list, but it's certainly a challenge for the public, especially if your schedule's variable. So, and Dan, did you want to say something about the other side of education, you know, besides knowing what's available, is hearing from people who really need rides. And I'm one of those because I can't drive at night. And so that means at 5 o'clock in December, I'm not going anywhere until I hope and then you know, I can go somewhere, but I can't get back. So for quite a few months of the year, and I don't think I'm alone in that. After a certain age, it's harder to drive with the glare of other lights coming at you. So this is it's pretty sad. And so everybody has a reason why they're here today, and that's one of my reasons. It's a personal reason. And the other reason is there's a lot of people who are just driving other people around. So Dan Crawford told me a story last time, which he's agreed to share today.
Yes. Thank you, Janet. Yeah.
Stand up so we can hear.
Oh, okay.
Speak loud.
Yeah, we don't have
Okay,
a
thank
mic,
you.
so-
Daniel Crawford, obviously. Like Janet said last week, I was about half an hour late because I had to take my brother to work. He lives a little bit too far away from work to get there, and then of course into the meeting I had to take a phone call from my ex-wife who was trying to get a ride to a store. And I do try to provide rides for family and sometimes friends. And it's just, you know, everyone needs transportation, and none of us are unaffected by that unless we are lucky enough to live near where we work and where we shop. I mean, like communities used to exist, but in a increasingly integrated but spread out society, we need to get to different places, and it's like all over a large area. So I'm here because, you know, transportation is inextricably linked to our ability to, you know, prosper and our ability to interact with one another and get educated and stuff. I mean, yeah, you can get on the internet, but not everyone has internet. So and unless you're able to shop for everything at home, everyone's able to do that, and unless you're able to interact with all your family members from home, which you're able to do, but it's kind of lonely if you're doing all of it through a computer. So yeah, I'm here for the need for everyone to have transportation, but it's not just about getting to work or shopping. It's everything about life is bound to that need to be able to get from point A to point B. So I'm here as a strong advocate for public transit, and also I'm part of the Education and Publicity Committee. I wrote a letter to the editor, if you will, but not from me, but as part of the group, which of course I sent to Andrea and anyone else who wants to read it, which I imagine everyone here probably does. I'm more than happy to share that. Just it's a little bit longer than the limit that the advocate provides, as I tend to be a little bit verbose, but yeah, I think it was almost 400 words or so, and I'm willing to try and edit that down, but the message that I was trying to convey in there is like what I just said just now, is that everyone needs transportation. And like Chris Perry had said last week, the easiest answer to this, one thing that's staring us right in the face, is that we need public transit. I mean, not everyone can afford having a car. Not everyone can afford the cab fares that you see. I mean, you know, getting from your house to work alone could be like, what was it, $7? I haven't taken a cab in a while. I mean,
But then you got no cabs in here anymore.
no, exactly, yeah. But when we did have one, that was extremely inexpensive. I mean, not extremely expensive, extremely expensive over time, to say unaffordable. But yeah, when you're depending on that, really high rates for fares, it's just no way to live. I mean, you're pretty much going to be imprisoned in your home over time just because of your poor status. Like my brother, for instance, he works at Giant Eagle with me, and you know, I love working for the company, but at the same time, it's not really something that enables you to get ahead over at least a short period of time. My brother would most certainly love to work out at Amazon or something like that, but he has no transportation. We could say carpool all you want, but that's not a sustainable solution. I mean, it helps you for individual cases to carpool with other people, but at the end of the day, a society as wealthy as ours, there's no excuse for us to not have an actual public transit system. It's just, you know, we can say personal responsibility all we want, but some people, their situation is a little bit more complex than that would indicate. You know, you say, oh, get a car, but when you get a car, you have to deal with insurance, the cost of maintenance, and all. There's a whole host of costs that come with it you just can't afford right up front. So unless you've been successful enough or lucky enough to have a bunch of money put on the side, getting a car is not exactly just an easy solution like that. So we need something to help people get up a step in life and get out ahead. You have to excuse me, I woke up not too long ago, so my ability to communicate is not completely on par right now.
You're getting wound up, though.
Yes, I am. But either way, so yeah, I'll shut up for now and talk later if I feel the need to.
Thank you.
Shannon. Thank you.
I think that summarizes the problem for a lot of people, you know. And if we're a community, we need to connect with each other. And that's something that we need for everybody. So the publicity committee, all right. Back table. Education, publicity, how to let people know what's available, how to use the transit system that we have, and to publicize the need. So, did I cover all the committees now? Oh, no, Adam, funding.
So I just wound up with funding, this week, I think? So sorry, I'm Adam Rhodes, everybody. I'm running for Licking County Commissioner.
You can't say that in here.
Oh, sorry. Sure. I reached out to Auditor Smith to get records of all payments that have been made to Licking County Transit and what their budget items are. And I also reached out to see if we can get a copy of the contract that's in place with thank you. And so that's all in process right now. I also started doing a bunch of research on the available grants from FHA and the Federal Transit. And then next I'll be reaching out to Lancaster and to Zanesville to understand better how they actually went about setting up their fixed route systems so that we can get a better sense of how that all came together.
Do you think, great, thanks. Do you think there might be an overlap in some of these committees that people need to talk across?
Yeah, so it doesn't mean you have to sit at your table to stay there. It means you can go float around if you want. But I would encourage you to talk about what are you going to do? What are the next steps? We talked a little bit about what we've done. So what are the next steps?